Hello world, Jennifer here. Was looking at some machine shop work today. Weather outside's been hot, crazy, rainy, and just a mess outside, so I've given up the outside work and decided to do some work in the machine shop. I found that I've needed a block when I do tree work because I had a rope that was bought from a big box store and just ran it through a carabiner, and when I got into the meat of the tree to start dropping sections of it, I sawed off one just a little bit too big, broke the rope like it was a piece of string, and the rope wasn't even there. So that was a bit disappointing. So I have a 9/16 bull rope on order, which should arrive shortly. I will make a video about that rope when it arrives. In looking online for pulleys to do arborist work, I found them to be a bit more beyond what my budget can afford. So I was taking some other ideas and perusing some aisles of some hardware stores and came up with some interesting ideas. First, in doing some of the work on getting vehicles and other things up on my flatbed trailer, I had a couple of 10,000-pound snatch blocks. They were only $15 and they work very well. The only problem is their max pulley is for like a 3/8 cable. And with having a maximum of only a 3/8 cable doesn't work for a 9/16 inch rope. So continuing to look at things, I found a light duty pulley that had a pulley actually in it that was quite well made, unlike the frame that it came with, that this pulley can handle a 9/16 inch rope. So the idea is, let's meld them together. I've taken the pulley, as you can see, out of that. The snatch block frame itself, I've rounded the top to try to take out a little weight off and make it a little easier without the square top, as you can see on that one, so that I've removed some weight, and my rope or shackle or whatever I have holding it can have better maneuver room. I need to make some bushings for the pin on the pulley. The pulley, I was gonna, it's 7/16 right now, center. I was gonna move that up to a 1/2 inch, which I believe the pulley can handle very, very easily. Make myself a bushing, because these are some sort of crazy metric size I have no idea what it is off the top of my head. I'll measure that up. The old pulley was almost a 3/4 inch bore. I understand that. That is quite a chunk of steel that pulley was made out of. This one, yes, is aluminum and has good thickness, webbing, so I believe it should be able to handle the weight and stress that I put on it. We'll certainly see if it does. Also, I wanted to introduce you to my milling machine. I have owned this machine now probably almost 20 years, and it is, as you can see, quite old. It is a Brown & Sharp 1.5, built sometime between 1895 and 1910. It has a Rusnik power head, which I've never heard of before. If anyone out there has heard of a Rusnik power head, please let me know in the comment section. It is the collets for it are Brown & Sharp number 9 collets. I found out through a very crazy way that I found out that it was the collets for it were Brown & Sharp number 9, which are becoming rare and difficult to find sometimes, but I do have a source now for Brown & Sharp number 9 collets, even though last time I picked one up they were $22.50 a piece. I'm also working on a power feed for the table, which is, as we know, a whole nother video in itself. I have as behind me also is an old South Bend lathe, which I will introduce you to at another time. We'll see about finishing up the project with the pulleys, get you maybe some time lapse, some other things. So please enjoy this series of making a truck very heavy snatch block into a somewhat lighter snatch block for climbing. Another successful part. Next, because I'm moving up to a 3-inch pulley instead of a 2.5, is it doesn't, there's the curve to the snatch block. It might be difficult to see on camera, but it has a curve to it, so the two pieces come together. Might be easier to see like that, somewhat like that, so that you can see, there it is, the gap there between the two where the pulley sits. Since I'm moving up to from a 2.5 to a 3-inch pulley, I gotta machine some clearance inside. Machining some clearance on the inside for the 3-inch pulley is the next process. All right, now that we're changed back over to the regular square vise and has figured out a way to get the side of the snatch block mounted the right side up, so I do mill the proper side for the pulley, and I have found an appropriate tool to get the job. Let's see if we can make some chips. The rest of the machining has gone very well with the snatch block for the tree work. I have just about finished it up. It's looking pretty good. There's some other minor details I'd like to finish up about it. The pulley clears pretty good inside, even though I'd like to remove some more weight and material by having an oval cut actually through the material on both sides. Wednesday, my new bull rope was delivered on Wednesday, and it turned out to be a little disheartening. The rope was an excellent rope and everything else. It's just that I really didn't know that 9/16 rope, the manufacturer decided to make the actual outside diameter of the 9/16 rope 11/16, which does not fit my pulley that was going to be for a rope that had an actual outside diameter of 9/16. So interestingly, this snatch block that I have upgraded and improved may only be stuck in the world of half-inch bull rope, due to the fact that if this is 9/16, I'd hate to see 3/4 due to the fact that this being 11/16 an actual outside diameter. So here we are in the process of, once we get this finished up, I've got a new design in the works for a much larger and I think innovative, with a couple of ideas on it that would make the snatch block much more useful and user-friendly in doing a lot of different operations. I'm probably going to make, I don't know how many wheels I may make for it, so I can move up and both have one wheel for cable and one for rope. The idea that I've come up with is to, most of the snatch blocks I see on arborist websites, they're wide and just have a ring in there where you put another sling or rope around. I like the idea of the through hole, so I said, well, why not make both? So I've got a plan to make the next snatch block with both an open gap where a sling could be put through, or I could take a shackle and the shackle could go over top. And I'm working on thinking about making the hole big enough for the shackle to go through. I don't know yet. I have some smaller shackles that will work and go through that and have a pretty good weight limit, or make the round edges so I can have a rope that goes through 90 degrees opposed to each other to make my pulley so it doesn't bend, and I can set my block at either 90 degrees of itself to make whatever work I'm doing with it at the time easier, due to the fact that I can set my pulley on either 90 degrees without having the whole mess and problem of having to purchase or something a swivel. That I'm not a big fan of all the swivels I see out there without buying some sort of swivel snatch block that's made for the towing industry that probably weighs a good 10 pounds, 10 to 15 pounds, where I'm looking at taking these, climbing with these up trees, to where dragging something that big up a tree would be ridiculous. Some have made comments that I've seen on other YouTube channels about why build the stuff yourself when you can maybe go out and purchase it. I enjoy building the stuff. I enjoy the machine shop work. And as the old saying goes, you can take the girl out of the machine shop, but you can't take the machine shop out of the girl. I've done that with a lot of things in my life. And I'm hoping very soon to get moving on an introduction to Laverne, my 1955 John Deere tractor. I'll maybe throw in a couple of shots and a short video piece of Laverne, and as soon as the weather cools off here in northern Georgia, so I can actually work outside in the afternoon, may be able to get some more footage and get a little bit of work in on getting Laverne up and running. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you all soon.